things that separate entrepreneurs from just regular workers. Guys, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there are some unique characteristics that are kind of deeply embedded in most entrepreneurs that kind of help them on their road to success. And I'm here to just talk about, there are many things that help entrepreneurs become successful, but to get yourself in a frame of mind where you feel that you can do it, you feel that you can accomplish your goals, you feel that you can take your creativity or your creation, or you feel like you can even, build a business. But let's get started with this. The five things that are important to helping you get on the road to success. Number one, mindset. Oh my God, that is so important. Mindset. You have to be in the right frame of mind. Let me tell you something. When I was a worker, when I was an employee and I was working at Goodyear and I was working at Honda, this is before I had my own business, I used to question what the owner did and why he did it and who he's doing it with, because I thought I could do it better. I didn't understand the financial responsibilities. I didn't understand making payroll. I didn't understand that nothing's really guaranteed. Well, I had a working knowledge of it, of course, but I did not know the stress that the owner was under. All I knew is I got my paycheck every week and I got my bonus every month, and that's all I cared about, as long as I met my sales obligations, and that was pretty much it. But I did not think about taxes. I didn't think about capital gains taxes. I didn't think about rent on the building. I didn't think about payroll. I didn't think about equipment financing, insurance. These are things I didn't think about. Now, as a manager, I had a working knowledge of some of the things the owner had to think about, but I didn't think about that. So the mindset that he was in and the mindset that I was in was totally different as a worker to owner/entrepreneur. These are different things. And in another video, I am going to touch on that, the difference between an entrepreneur and an owner. But mindset, you have to be in the right frame of mind to receive some of this information, because a lot of times we as workers, we do not understand what it takes to first get the courage to quit your job. When you think about what frame of mind you have to be in to take that leap of faith, to take your ideas from pen and paper and decide to move forward with, because most people, they work their job and they create their business. And your business it's a hobby at first. And from that point on, after you work and you feel confident enough to quit your job, it becomes a full-time job. But you have to be in a certain frame of mind. You have to have a level of confidence. You have to have the confidence that your family's going to be provided for. You're going to be provided for, because you're going to have worries. You're going to worry about your health. You're going to worry about your family. You're going to worry about your kids, their education. And that's assuming you do have kids. But overall, will you fail? Will you succeed? All of these things come in your mind. So your frame of mind or your mindset, you have to be in the right frame of mind to even embark on the journey of becoming an entrepreneur. Because success is not granted, is not given. You have to work hard at it. Success comes from preparation and time in the market. You got to put the time in if you want to be successful. Number two, work ethic. Work ethic is very, very important. Most people start things and they stop. Let me tell you something. There are many times people call me for advice about what did it take for me to become a successful entrepreneur. And I said to them, I work when most people are asleep. A lot of times my daily routine revolves around getting up at 5 in the morning. I meditate. And from meditation, after that, I start doing my research, my due diligence. I'm studying my market. I'm studying finance. I'm studying, the government. I'm looking at news, but I'm also fact checking different things. And I said, so before I even get into the market, before anybody else wake up, I'm already prepared way before time. I technically don't have to be up to 9 o'clock, but I'm up at 5 o'clock and I'm working then. I'm working out. I'm working my body. I'm working my mind. And then I'm also enlightening my family. And I'm trying to get them on a pace of hard work. And smart work. So you got to have a very strong work ethic. You have to work when others are not working. You got to put in more. Think about how hard you worked when you were an employee. How hard you should work even harder for yourself. Even harder. But most people think that when you become an entrepreneur, that means easy street. That is the wrong way of thinking. That does not mean easy street. What that means is now I've embarked on a journey to work even harder for myself. I'm doing this for myself as well as my family as well as the next generation. So, work ethic. You have to have proper work ethic. You have to put in the time, put in the energy, put in the effort if you want to be successful. No one gets to success by being lazy. You cannot become successful being lazy. You have to constantly stay on top of your game. You have to constantly keep learning, always doing, always moving. If you're not growing your business, you are losing your business. And how do you do it? You have to keep staying in motion. Number 3, you have to be persistent. You know how many times I've heard no, we don't want it. No. If I would have gave up at the beginning, we would not be here 5 years later. I've been a businessman and a worker for a long time. I've had multiple companies. Some worked, some did not work. I've lost a lot of money. I've made a little bit of money. But, my family, and thank God my family stuck with me, because a lot of people cannot deal with some of the things that I do. People say, oh, those are harebrained schemes. But no, I'm persistent. I made up in my mind that there was a certain lifestyle that I wanted to live. There are certain things that I want to accomplish in my life. I did not want an ordinary life. I wanted an extraordinary life. Well, how was I going to get it? I wasn't born rich. And, in order for me to have the finances to do some of the things that I want to do in life, I had to put in the time. I had to put in the effort. And every time someone has told me no, it makes me work that much harder. It makes me study that much harder. It makes me work a little bit longer. It makes me find I embrace new technologies. And I said, well, what can I do in order for me to become a better version of me? How do you become a better version of you so those no's become yeses? You got to turn a no into a yes. Now, I'm not saying be a pest, but what I am saying is you got to have good work ethic and be persistent. You got to be persistent. You got to keep trying and trying and trying. Even when you hear no, you have to keep going, because there's always another way to turn this ship around. You can always get a no to turn into a yes, but you just got to find what your market needs. You have to find what is it that your target audience needs, because meaning you also have to have a plan, because you cannot just go out here and wing it. You got to have a plan. But number 4, time management. You have to learn to manage your time. Let me say that again. You have to learn to manage your time. Like I said, I wake up every morning at 5 o'clock. Don't have to even get up to 9. Don't have to go to the shop. I may not have an order on the books to do any business, but I'm up at 5, because I know if I got up at 8, I really wouldn't have time to prepare myself to be leaving my house and leaving my home office to go up to the shop just to check on the workers and check on inventory and things like that. I wouldn't have any time. So I get up a couple of hours early so I can have the time to meditate, to do my research. Because I always hit it. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to work out. But my back is stiff. My mind is clouded. Or I got this I'm dealing with my spouse. I got this I'm dealing with my kids. I don't have the time to deal with all of it. Well, you need to learn to manage your time. Everything has a time. We all have 24 hours out the day. What you do with your time is very important. You have to learn to manage that time. Allow a certain amount of time for sleep, a certain amount of time for research, a certain amount of time for meditation, a certain amount of time for actual work, a certain amount of time for family, a certain amount of time for spirituality. There's time that's allowed, and you got to make sure that no one is wasting your time. Because what I found is a lot of people say, well, I want to be an entrepreneur and I want to have my own business. And then I find that they spend so much time with their friends. I'm not saying you can't have friends, but they may not be on the same journey, they may not have the same mission in life as you. Some people just want to work their job, do their 30 and retire. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you decide just a little bit more, you're going to have to learn to manage your time, because you don't work out for 8 hours a day. That's not how entrepreneurs think. That's not how they live. That's not how they do anything. It's not based on 8 hours a day. You have to learn to manage your time. Time management is very important when you're an entrepreneur, because you can spend a lot of your time on social media and get lost, and you're not getting anything done. You can spend a lot of time on the phone just talking frivolously. You got people calling you all day just to waste your time. You have to allow certain pockets of time for certain things. A lot of times people call me all day. If it's not a business call, I'll say, well, right now I'm a little busy, or I'm in a meeting, or I'm a little tied up. When I get a moment, I'll call you back. You have to learn to say no. Because time is very important. You don't have a lot of time to work on your business and be successful. A lot of times people are saying, well, I need this done in this certain amount of time. And if you decide to do it at your own pace, and when you feel like doing it, you're going to lose the contract. You may not get that thing that you're trying to get. So I say you have to learn to manage your time. Let me say, I tell this to most, because I get a lot of calls from a lot of up and coming entrepreneurs. And they'll say, well, I've watched your videos and I've studied some of the things that you've done. And how do you fit all this in a day? I just don't have the time. So I say, let's start here. What time do you wake up? When the first time I hear something like 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and you're an entrepreneur? You're waking up at 12 o'clock noon and you start a business. Are you running a business? You can't be. You cannot seriously be telling me that you're starting your business, or no, you're starting your day at 12 o'clock and you're an entrepreneur. It's unbelievable. I don't know any entrepreneurs that I hang with, that I'm around, that start that day at 12 o'clock noon. Unless you're in the club business or something. But even those guys, they get up early because there's a lot of work that needs to be done. There's certain businesses and banks and things that are not even open to. After 5 o'clock, you can't do business at, like financial institutions. So how are you getting up at 12 o'clock saying you're an entrepreneur? Unbelievable. But work ethics, you got to have a great work ethic. And all of it kind of ties into managing your time. Let me tell you this right here. That was a time when I was younger. I would get up early, work out, but I wouldn't do any research. And then I'll just try to go work my job. And then I try to learn things on the fly. And, then I said, well, man, I'm spending 2 hours every morning from 5 to 7 working out. So I've learned to cut that down just a little bit, because you don't have to be in the gym all morning. You don't have to. I said, okay, let me get some time for working out, some time for meal prepping, some time for studying research. So when I get ready to go off, I can be the best version of myself. But I have to learn to manage my time. And then when I got off, or even on my lunch break, I'm like, okay, I used to sleep on my lunch break, but then I started spending just a little time resting and a little time researching or writing down my idea, planning to execute. So when I get out of work, there were times when I would get off work and I would be like, well, I'm getting ready to go to the club. And I'd spend from 5 or 6 o'clock all the way to about 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, preparing for the club. Now look at all that time I wasted when I could be working on my business. I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I said I wanted to own my own business. I'm not showing it. Not in my actions. I'm definitely not showing it. So, I had to learn. I had to do a lot of self-checking. I had to look at myself and say, what am I doing wrong? Why are other people so successful and I'm not? Why am everything that I do is failing or is stagnated? Well, I learned that I was not managing my time wisely. We all have 24 hours in a day. And me, I was wasting a lot of my time. And when people call me, I realize they are wasting a lot of their time. Well, number 5, who you hang with. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. The closest 5 people that you hang around, you're the sum of those people. Every day, besides my immediate wife and son, I pretty much hang with other entrepreneurs. These are some very successful people. We talk about business and opportunities and what's changed with the government, what's changed in the market, how we can make our business better, how we can network, collaborate, things of that nature. So most of my circle are all entrepreneurs. I'd rather hang with people that just work regular jobs. Most people own their own company. So that's who I spend my time with. But let's say because a lot of times I have old friends that call me and say, man, you don't have time to come to the club. I really don't. I don't even go clubbing anymore. I really don't have time. Not that I live a life of just work. Most of the time that I'm spending it with my family. I'm taking my wife somewhere. I'm taking my son somewhere. I'm engaged in healthy activity. So whoever I spend my time with, it has to be worthwhile. And it means a lot for me to spend time with my son and cultivate him and my wife, or my mother, my sister, my brother. But when it's not those people, then it's going to be business people. And for me, it's going to be, I spend time sometimes with lawyers, bankers, financiers, other entrepreneurs. I spend time with venture capitalists. But these are the people that I spend time with. So I cannot say that I spend my time frivolously. And I'm not going to say playing video games, things like that, because I don't play video games pretty much. My son plays them, but I don't really play games. There's nothing wrong with that, because you need to have a way to release some of that energy to change your surroundings sometimes. You know, because me, I'm a Marvel guy. I love Marvel. So when I'm not working, when I'm not coming up with plans and ideas and ways to grow the business and looking at percentages and all that stuff and trying to figure out how to order things from across the water and build connections with, you know, international imports and things like that, I'm watching Marvel. And that's what relaxes me, because you got to have that downtime also. You got to have things that you do that's healthy, you know, but you got to have that downtime. But you cannot be associating with people that are wasting your time. You got 5 friends that call you and they say, hey, can you come to the club? Hey, can you hang at the sports bar? Hey, can you just hang out at my house when we're playing cards? At what point are you wasting time? When does it sink in that you are wasting your time? You can do some of those things sometime. That can't be your everyday. Cannot be your everyday, because I'm here to tell you, you're getting further and further away from your goal and your dream. That's if you have a dream and you are taking your dream serious. If you're not taking it serious, then you can spend all day playing cards, playing games, playing basketball all day, hanging out at the club, chasing women, chasing men, you know, just doing whatever. But you cannot call yourself an entrepreneur. You cannot say, I'm actively working on my dream, my vision. You cannot say that, because you're not. And you have to be truthful with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. So you are the sum of the first 5 people that you hang around. So look around. Look who you're hanging with. Look who you talk to every day. And think about how much time you're spending with them. Then think about what I'm doing. Is it working toward my future? Is it working toward my business? If the answer is no, and you want to be successful, and you want to change your family dynamics and circumstances and get rid of generational curse, I suggest that you change the people that you're hanging around. Because you change the people you're hanging around, you're going to change your circumstances. Well, this is Enrique Dent, Beo Crypto. These are the 5 things that separate entrepreneurs from workers. And I am out.